Hey everybody, this is Doree, and I'm here to talk to you today about what's wrong with church.
What's wrong with being
with the
married?
way I feel. I feel lonely because it's about.
Hey everyone, this is Doree Allen, and I'm here today to talk to you about what's wrong with being married. You know, all of us at some point in time will consider reasons to or not to get married to someone that we're involved with. And I know for me, when I considered it, I was about 20, 21 years old, and I felt that I needed to get married because I needed to have someone. I needed to be with someone. And in my case, my ex-husband now is 8 years older than I am. And I just felt that because he was older, because he was more experienced, that it would be a good idea for me to marry him. And I loved him too, but I wasn't fully comfortable with myself and who I was, and I felt that I had to attach myself to someone else that was older and wiser. One of the reasons that I know that we shouldn't have gotten married is because we were always breaking up with each other. There was always an argument going on, there was always conflict, and if that's the way that our dating relationship was, how much was it going to change before we got married? But I just felt that I had to be with this person, and I just loved him, and that was that. Even though I prayed about it, even though I prayed about the relationship, prayed about whether or not to get married, I still wanted what I wanted. And so I went ahead and did it. One of the things that I really learned from all that arguing while we were dating and while we were married is that words really do hurt. You can't take back the things that you say. Even if you do truly decide to forgive someone, there's always something in the back of your mind, always that memory that can come back, and it can come back to haunt you, and sometimes it comes back up in an argument. Men and women are notorious for having arguments, and someone brings up something from the past because they're just not over it. They just haven't forgiven it, given that person for it, and they just haven't let it go. Sometimes we get involved in relationships, whether or not they lead to marriage, and we know that it's a mess. We know that things aren't right. We know there's complications. We know there's arguments. We know that there's different opposing viewpoints that cannot be resolved. But instead of letting go of that person, we just want to force it. We just want to make it right. Whether it takes months or years for us to figure this out, we just want to keep beating our head against the wall and try to make it right. And what I discovered is that when it comes to God and what He has for you in your life, He has what He has for you, and it may not be what you're telling Him that you want. I want to be with this man, I want to be with this guy, I want to be in this relationship. But if He's not blessing it, and it's not His will for you to be with that person, it's just not going to flow, it's just not going to fit. And everything cannot be fixed. Sometimes the way to deal with a situation is to let it go. And I believe that God is a gentleman. He's not going to force you to do what He wants you to do. If you want to be with that person, if you want to keep beating your head against the wall, and you want to keep dealing with the same old situations over and over again, and that frustration and that hurt and that anger and that betrayal that you feel, God's going to step aside and let you do that until you come around and realize that that is not what He has for you, that He wants you to be happy. He doesn't want you to be stuck and be married to someone who is going to abuse you or who you're going to feel miserable being with. So sometimes the only way for us to deal with these situations is to stop dealing with them and let them go. And we can't expect God to bless our mess. We can't expect Him to accept what it is that we want and say, okay, God, make this right, when it's just not right for you. So these and other revelations are what I talk about in the chapter about what's wrong with being married. So my book, What's Wrong With Me, is now available from Amazon.com for pre-ordering. Will be available everywhere on February 14th, 2012.